Gothie, and if you can hear the noise in the background and stuff, it's because the fan's on, because it is really, really hot. It's like 9:30 at night. I was actually going to film this when I got home, but let's tell us what the temperature is. It was really hot, and I hadn't slept, so alright, it's still like 25 degrees, which is quite a lot. So today was Book Expo, and it wasn't. I thought it would actually be bigger than it was last year, but it was kind of smaller. Some of the bigger companies weren't there again, like Booktopia, and I think King's Comics were there last year as well, and neither of them were there this year. Still got a whole ton of books. Not enough to make my wheelchair tip, but it was on that point. So, we didn't spend the whole day there. We just sort of, went around for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And then we actually went to a career expo that was the next hall over, just sort of randomly, which also wasn't as good as it has been in the past. It's one that I've been to twice. And yeah, that was kind of disappointing too, so yeah, but I got a lot of books. I didn't have a lot of money to play with, and I borrowed a little bit from Andrew, but I wasn't going to borrow a lot. So yeah, some of the things that I've got here that I'm going to go through first are like some of the ones that I'm going to be getting in ebook form. So to start with, this one, which I was given as a Kindle ebook gift. So now I have the Kindle app on my computer so that I can read it, and just discovered that I have a whole lot of free books from Kindle that I haven't read yet. So this is Inveiglement Invitation by Abrams and Elliott. And it is an erotica. And what was really interesting about this erotica, like something about it caught my eye, and I went over and spoke to them and stuff. And it's actually written in dual point of views. So it's two writers, one male writer, one female writer. And the dual point of views is represented in like different types of text. So, the male's point of view is in this bold text, and the female's point of view is unbolded. And the whole book is written like that, and like their dialogue and stuff is written the same way, so that it changes and stuff. I thought that was quite interesting, and not something that I've come across in an erotica. So I thought I would give it a go, but I didn't have any money left by that point. But they gifted me the ebook, so I will be getting to that. Also, this one is called My Escort, and there's one called Aroused. And these are by Kia Carrington Russell. I bought one of her other books, and she was like, all like, oh my god, I love your hair, your makeup, and stuff, which it's gone now because I slept. But they look like more. I think she said they were paranormal romances, which is something that I like to read. I haven't read for a while, so I'll be picking those up as well. And we have this one here called Unearthed. This is by Rebecca Bloomer, and it's kind of like a dystopian sort of thing. And on the back there is a sample that I will be looking at. This one is probably the one that I need to keep track of most. So Patty Jensen, she writes science fiction and fantasy. And if you go to her website, focus, yeah, you go to her website, sign up for the list, you get 3 free ebooks, including the first book in one of her series, which actually has characters who have physical disabilities. And because I haven't read the series yet, I don't know if they're good guys or bad guys, but basically, if you're born with a physical disability, you have access to this supernatural power called ice fire. And, I mean, how often do you come across books with people with disabilities? Like, pretty much, like, never. So, I'm going to be doing that after this. That one can sit up there. Another series that looks interesting, this way. The Star Child series. It's Varson Taylor, I hope that's right. Looks really interesting. It's a YA, I believe, and it's a fantasy. Some thrillers. So this one, Choices. by Jeff Edwards, and he actually has a whole bunch of different thrillers. He recommended this one especially because it has strong female characters. And I was like, wow, do I look like a feminist, like just straight off the bat or something? Like, is that why he pulled me over with, we got a thriller with a strong female character? Like, okay. um, this one is by Barbara Underwood. It's called Runa, Keeper of Wisdom, and then there's the second book in the series called Runa Crossroads. And that is a dystopian, I don't know whether it's YA or not, but it's a dystopian fantasy sort of stuff. And these are all available as ebooks, but you can also get them as paperbacks and stuff, and that's why I've kept these, because I want to get them. This one I picked up and was really interested in. It's called Sorcerer's Oath. It's by Jenny Ely, and I'm going to be getting, it's on Amazon as a Kindle, but I'll check if it's on Kobo as well, because that's what I have. And it's a fantasy. And I picked it up, and it seemed really interesting, really chunky book too. And these ones are by Lauren Dawes, and they are paranormal romances by the looks of it. But definitely paranormal. One is a werewolf vampire hybrid. Oh, it's werewolves and a human vampire hybrid. And this one is about dark elves, which, you know, I like elves. So this one is it's a Black Ops sort of military sort of one, but it's actually set in Sydney, which is kind of cool. So I thought I might keep an eye on it, and if it ever goes on sale, then I will go for that. Those ones, did I show that one? Yeah, I showed that one. And these are, so this is the one that I bought, which I'll show off later, and it's a paranormal romance. But she also has two other series, and that's Kia Carrington Russell. So they're all some of the ones that I'm going to look for as ebooks. I probably should have grabbed some more. There might be some more in the bags, because I have bags. One of the things I wanted to bring up, especially to Aussies, because this is really important. So this is the Books in Homes program. And what they do is they get books to kids, encourage reading, and they work with a lot of Indigenous children, and they work with remote communities, and they work within Western Sydney. So I'm going to be calling them in 2 weeks to volunteer for them. And yeah, like you can do donations, and as you can see, you know, every donation is like of $82 gets this. So I mean, you can get like 9 books to kids. Like, that's crazy. I wish I got 9 books when I was a damn kid. But yeah, so they work with remote communities, low socioeconomic communities, and I'm going to be volunteering for them, because this is something that I want to do. You know, I want to help encourage reading in kids, and I mean, why not? So basically the volunteering it'll be actually based in my area. They do a lot of the local schools, like I think they actually do the one that's like right down the road from me too. And they're happy for me to volunteer for them, and they're really cool, and I might even be able to swing it so that I get some hours for it as well through TAFE, so that would be nice. Now for the actual books. Okay, so what's that? Oh, I got some free music. I'll give that to Andrew. That's some hippie stuff. He's into hippie stuff. Oh, so nice. Okay, so they can come out. The bag kind of broke, so first up, Selena Fennick was there. I didn't take my cross stitch in with me because I haven't done enough on it that it looks like anything, and I didn't mark it out or anything, so I'm gonna do it another time. But I did go over and went to her stall and everything, and I was going to buy some from the Memories Week series. I have the first one, And I have the second and the third one as ebooks. But I have this one as a physical copy too. And I want to get them. I want to get them as physical copies because they have amazing artwork and stuff. She also has an omnibus of all three together that have extra illustrations in it, so I'm gonna have to get that too because yes. But I mean, cross stitches will recognize her designs. Um, and of course, oh, I have a voucher for Fairies and Fantasy. I will have to look into this. Anyway, yeah, Fairies and Fantasy stuff with all the different artists. So I went up to her stall, and I mean, I didn't have a lot of money for today. Not as much as I would have liked to have. But I knew I wanted to get something, and I was going to get a colouring book and one of her fiction books, like maybe the second one or the third one or both. Um, until I saw that she had all three of her colouring books, and that is a Colour Yourself calendar with Selena Fennick designs. So that happened. It happened. And I'll do a proper review of these at some point too, because they look really nice. But I got the Color Your Year calendar. I need some more space to put all this stuff. I got the fairy art, the enchanted coloring book, and the mermaid's one. So, oh, bookmarks. Oh, bookmarks. We have Token Huntress by Kia Carrington Russell. This is a paranormal romance about vampires, and he's just gonna keep doing that. Yep. Oh, just moving stuff out of the way so that I have some space to put stuff down. Right. So then there was a few tables set up, and they had like a 3 for $10 sort of thing. So I picked up Winter Be My Shield, which is an epic fantasy by Joe Spurrier. Is that it? Yep. Australian author, epic fantasy trilogy, and it just looked really interesting and caught my eye. So I grabbed that. I grabbed this one called Dark Parties by Sarah Grant. And this one, which one was this? This was the, yeah, so it's like a dystopian sort of thing where humanity lives in this dome and there are people that go missing. You know, and then allowed to have parties and stuff like that. So that's about that. Her boyfriend goes missing, and she goes after him, from what I believe. And like, it's really cool. It doesn't. There you go. It's got like sparkly bits in there. Sparkly. Yes. And I picked up The Shadows Heir by K.G. Taylor. And this is a fantasy series that I've actually had my eye on for a little while. So this looks good. This is the first book. I think it's a trilogy. It's the Risen Sun or something. Yeah, Risen Sun. And the cat is chasing something. What are you chasing, dude? I don't know. She has another series that I'd like to get as well. She? I keep saying automatically. Yes, it's a she. It's a she. So yeah. And I got a 20% off at Bookabuy that I need to check out. And I mean, I swear that people who give out like free bookmarks must hate me because I take advantage of that. Because Selena Fennick had a bunch of bookmarks there. Not all of them were her designs, but yeah. And it's that way. It's an owl. And some fairies. That's not one of her ones. I love me some bookmarks. Wait, no, this one. This cross-stitch pattern. Yes. That's a cross-stitch pattern too. That one's on my wish list. And, oh wait. I'm really bad at judging which way things go. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. So she had a lot of other people's designs there this time round, which is cool. I don't mind at all because they're still absolutely gorgeous. And I took one. Oh yeah, there's free bookmarks. Take one, take two, take three. I gotta take one of everything. Oh, bookmark rage. Nothing can stop me. And then I have another bag. Oh, that's Andrew's. They have this place there called Fairy Garden, and they do like these little fairy gardens. So Andrew bought like a felted mushroom, which is really cool, and now he wants to learn how to make them himself. I was kind of annoyed because like they had like this thing set up so that you could make your own little fairy garden, you know, like with a plant and everything in it, and I really wanted to do it because I'm a sucker for all that sort of stuff. But she's like, oh, it's for kids. I'm like, come on, man. That's not fair. That's not nice at all. I should probably mention that the Token Huntress book I got was signed, which is cool. I got the Altika book 1 in the series by Tracy Joyce, and she has given me access to the first 3 chapters of the second one as well. And this one is signed as well. This is one that I spoke to them last year, and I ended up getting one of the other books called The Ouroboros Key by Patricia Leslie instead of this one, just because there were so many there that I wanted that I couldn't pick. This is the same stall that had the Sorcerer's Oath series and a few other ones that looked really interesting. So again, it was hard to pick a book. And yeah, I have access to the first 3 chapters of the second one, which is called Asina Blessed. Has a pretty badass looking cover there. And this is a fantasy series. This is a really interesting one. And she's given me like a character key as well, and like a little bit of who's who kind of thing, which is really cool. Like that's a really fun thing to include in a book. What else do I have in here? This is from Good Reading magazine, who also do the Spine Out publishing for students. Also, handy bags come in handy all the time. So what's this? Yeah, so they do a lot of like stuff with students and stuff, like helping them get stuff published. So they have one primarily for primary school children, for like art and short stories and all sorts of stuff. And then they have one for older school kids. And they do some really interesting stuff. But they also put out a magazine called Good Reading. And they are going to have... I'm actually thinking of subscribing to them. But they're always looking for like reviewers and stuff like that to do some reviews. So, yeah, you can subscribe to the digital one for like $30. So I'm thinking about it for next year. So I got 2 issues. I got these for free. And this is, they have a date on them, June 2015 and July 2014. And these have got like reviews and stuff in them, interviews, and what's the best way to show these off? I'll probably just do it this way. Yeah, so they have like, editors' picks and letters and stuff like that. and I've picked up their magazines and stuff before, and they always have freebie ones there, which is always awesome because who doesn't like freebies? So, you know, interviews with actors and stuff about, what sorts of books are they reading and stuff, and it's really cool. Like, I'm gonna maybe look into doing some um, reviews for them once I practice writing some reviews a bit better, because I tend to just put my opinion down and not do like full review. So I need to work on that. Ooh, that one's cool. Yeah. So I have some free magazines, and this is the last bag of books. There's some snacks in there too, just because it's where they were put. Oh, and there's some more bookmarks. I told you, I'm on a bookmark rampage. Another bookmark. And yeah, got a really nice bag too, and it's like it's got a fairy on it. And, like, how cool is that? It's not a fairy, it's a witch. My bad. How cool is that bag? It's pretty awesome. I have so much cleaning. My room's a mess right now. So bookmarks. This series is the covers are illustrated by Selena Fennick. So she's given me like 2 or 3 of them, but Into the Light and Into the Dark, and then Into the Mist is the first book. So this one I actually won. She was giving away a copy, and I won it. So this is by Laurel Clayton. And this one is about, it's like a dystopia sort of thing with fantasy. It's about a bunch of dwarves and elves and humans, and the elves are in control. And this is really, it's like, yeah, I don't know, it just looks super interesting. Like a pile of skulls and stuff on the cover. Seems really awesome. So I won this one, and it is signed as well. Um, this one looks really interesting too. Like, this one caught my eye big time. And most of these are all Australian authors too. Um, yeah, so it's dual authors, which is cool. Was I supposed to say Laurel and Clayton then? I don't know. And then I bought, this is one series that I looked at last year and just didn't have the money to buy. She always sets up next to Selena Fennick. And she had a 3-pack of all 3 books, Into the Mists, Into the Dark, and Into the Light for 50. So I got them. I'll take them out, but look how lovely these are, like, packaged. They've got like a cover on them and stuff that goes all the way around. But she was also like super lovely. Serene Colin Conneely? Okay, I butchered that. She was like super sweet, and she gave me a free book as well. And this one is all about like writing your own journey, like a journal and diaries and stuff like that. Um, so this is all about, yeah. So we've got at the beginning, there is like bunches of like articles and chapters and stuff, and then you get to the end half, and it's all just like journaling pages with like quotes and stuff like that. And I just thought that was so nice, and she just, yeah, that was like, she threw it in there, and I was like, oh my god, thank you. That was so nice. Um, so I'll open these. Illidan will love this stuff. He's gonna love it. He's too busy chasing a bug of some sort at the moment. Alright, so alright. So the first book is Into the Mists. Yep. The second book is Into the Dark. And the third one is Into the Light. She also has another series of books that are all about magic and that sort of stuff, called Witchy Magic, Mermaid Magic, and Fairy Magic. A couple of years ago, those would be things that I'd be interested in, but they're not quite my thing anymore. She also has a book about the 7 sacred sites. So she's, very, I would go out on a limb and just say Wiccan, like sort of pagan sort of thing. But this is a fantasy series about an Australian girl um, which is really cool. Like, I always like geek out a little when I find books that are set in Australia because I'm like, I know what they're talking about. I know where they're talking about. Yeah. So these are a fantasy series, and this is just like a series that I really wanted to get last year, and I just didn't quite have the money, so I got them this time around. And yeah, that is my book expo haul. I think that was everything. Yes. So not as much as last year. Last year I went completely apeshit because Booktopia had a coin donation for a book table, and I think I spent like $12 there. I just like bought 12 books, and I'm not kidding. Like I went crazy on that. Um, but I mean, I am going to buy a whole bunch of ebooks and stuff when I get paid next, and read them on the computer. And yes, so that was my day at Book Expo. My only gripe, which is the same gripe from last year, there are no disabled bathrooms. In the hall that they use, there are no disabled bathrooms, and that's kind of annoying, especially because you have to try and run around and try and find someone who works for Olympic Park to open up the closest um, toilet because they don't leave it open as a general rule. So that's a problem, and it just didn't seem as big as last year. And there weren't as many workshops and stuff. Like there were none that I was really interested in. Um, and like last year they had the medieval guys there beating the crap out of each other with swords. And they weren't there this year. They did have some people reading poetry, which was cool. Um, I didn't sit and listen to any of them. Like I just sort of caught snippets as we went past. But it sounded pretty good, and maybe in future I'll go and I'll chill out and listen to some poetry. Yeah, but overall it was a good day. I got quite a few books, and I'm very happy with my purchases. And I will be starting to read some of these, and you can look forward to hearing about them more in the future. So I'm gonna go, and I'll see you guys later. Where's the button? Where is the button? Button, button, button.